The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? All right, this is Disruptive Traders TV, January 22nd, 2020, Power 62 session. My name is Todd Groskreutz. I'll be answering your questions today. I am doing good. Let's go on to the disclaimer, get that out of the way, let a few people jump on. Risk warning and trading disclaimer. Trading foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors or traders. There are no guarantees of profit. Most Forex traders lose money trading. Past performance is not indicative of future results. The high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you. Excuse me 1 second. Before deciding to invest in foreign exchange, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should only invest money that you can afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts or uncertainties. This presentation and all of its content, including past trades and potential trade setups, is for educational and informational purposes only. Using any strategies, techniques, or software mentioned in this presentation is also risky. We make no guarantees of profit of any kind. The presenter is not a licensed financial professional and therefore will not give any financial advice or recommendations. All information in this presentation is our opinion and may not reflect the truth or reality in the world of trading. Please use your own good judgment and seek advice from a qualified consultant before believing, accepting, or acting upon any information in this presentation. This is not a solicitation to invest. Hypothetical performance results have many inherent limitations, some of which are described below. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical performance results and the actual trading results, and the actual results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally prepared with the benefit of hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading record can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or to adhere to a particular trading program in spite of trading losses are material points which can also adversely affect actual trading results. There are numerous other factors related to the markets in general or to the implementation of any specific trading program which cannot be fully accounted for in the preparation of hypothetical performance results, and all of which can adversely affect actual trading results. There you have it. All right, here's our schedule. One note, the beginners pitchfork class is no longer for the time being. It may come back in the future. Scheduling conflict there, so that's not going down anymore. Today we've got, today is Wednesday. My session right here, and then Tony does Beginner's Waveology, does a good job of that at noon Eastern today. Make sure you catch that. As I say every week, the Waveology classes are very important. This one did not go down last night. The Waveology, understanding it, gaining an understanding of it will help in the long run as far as Fast 33 and Tap 29. All right, so we've got Power 62 session today. Power 62. Got a good group. Got some guys that usually answer or ask questions. I'm here to answer them. So we've got 62 AMAs, right, on different time frames. 5/13/62 reality on each time frame. Got harmonic targets per time frame. Got like the 34/21 shadow bands to the 62 on a 30-minute time frame. Shadow bands in general on all time frames. All 62 related as price works its way around the 62. It's a bad representation of a 62. Not that it'll do that exactly, but it does like to come to the 62, check it, or go through it, pass and check it. Yeah, definitely keeping Mac's families in our thoughts and prayers. Wanting to ask about the 1 minute haul. Does the haul follow price, or would it possibly follow a moving average? The 1 minute haul, the haul in general, is an exit indicator. Generally to be best used when going into snaking waves, trading into snaking waves, or you have a good burst for that time period. 1 minute would be 12 to 15 pips, if you will. So if you're 12 to 15 pips into profit, it's a time you can start to look at using the haul. What it does is it will keep you in that trade and averages a 23% erosion of the whole move. So best used when you're getting in the move at the beginning of the move. But it does kind of mimic a moving average a little bit, but it's only because it's based on the last 21 candles. I don't know the calculation inside of it. But the way we use it's based on the last 21. That's why we call it the whole 21. But definitely as not a line that you trade off of if you're using the line version on your chart. And it's a exit indicator, not an entrance indicator. So hope that helps a little bit. All right, other questions? Other questions? No questions? Might be a short session today. Hold on 1 second here. Can you share your 30-minute EMAs on your 30-minute chart? I know we went over this in the past, but the session was not recorded. I mean, generally 5/13/62, if you have hold on 1 second here. If you have access to the MA indicator, which if you have tab 29, Steve gives you access to it. you go here, it's an indicator I'd added. It's called MAs. It will put additional moving averages on your 30-minute chart. It only works on the 30-minute chart. Turn these off. Hold on 1 second here. Just to clean it up a little bit, just to look at. So it puts a 200 on there, puts a 312 on there, which in Steve's research, he showed as a 1 hour turnover. So if you're trading a 1 hour chart, it works really good. Then there's a 496 on there, which is the green. 496 is the 4 hour. So those are the ones that it puts on there automatically for you, in addition to I'm running the 513.62. So I'll glance at those occasionally. We can see here we had a nice bounce off of the 312 at a 30-minute convergence with the peak 240 pretty high. So it ended up being the end of this pullback, basically. And then stepped up, bounced off the 30-minute. I think it's a shredder indicator only. If you have tab 29, I emailed Steve and asked him about it. It's just called MAs. When he authorized me for tab 29 is when he put it in there. So, I mean, you can emulate them by doing the math, right? And to me, the 200E, that's I don't want to call it old paradigm, but 50 and the 200 were used a lot in the old paradigm. The 496, which you can go to a 4 hour chart, it'll be the 62 on a 4 hour chart. You can go to a 1 hour chart, and it'll be the 124 would be. So 312 would be one you can put on. You could put it on manually on your chart. So, but those are the ones that are on there. 124 is another one you can look at, just because it'd be the true 1 hour 62. Sorry. See this a lot where you'll watch price, right? Where you see here we came up to a 10-minute convergence. It's that little slip move I talked about, right? 30 still traveling up, talking a little waveology. 5 pulls back, challenges the 62, challenges it again, and then it comes back. You see that a lot where it'll challenge it twice and then it starts to take off after that. It's basically saying, hey, I can't get past this and stay past it, where it comes down and starts going that way, makes a reversal essentially. And then a lot of times, not always, right? But a lot of times then you'll come up and make a nice pass and check move. And we see how, what Steve in old sessions would call a carrot, where the 1 minute just slammed down and away you go. So, and you'll see this on different time frames. You see it on the 30 a lot as well. See right here and right here how that big pullback, pulled up, pulled back again, and now we're blasting off. So, does it always do it? No. Not to say that, it comes out of here and doesn't go down, but kind of see we made a higher low there. even though price was almost exactly the same. So just little visual cues that you start to see on the charts over time. Does it always in recessions? There's a running joke between Zoe and I. She trades the pound. I pulled it up on purpose. And probably 85% of the time during the session, and it's usually the 62 session, there'll be a qualified trade in her trade program. So it's kind of the running joke between the two of us. So yeah, you'll see it happen on the 5-minute as well. As this is a little deeper. These are actually these are the 30-minute ones, yeah. But it'll happen on the 5-minute sometimes too. So just something to look for. We get so hell bent on how, is this the end? Is this the end? But this is by the time we get, and again, back to waveology, right? This power 10 tells us a lot because it's the 3-minute, the 5-minute, and the 10-minute together, right? And so when it starts moving up like this and we pull back, we know a lot more where we're at than right here. This would be probably the Clayway trade. Yeah, hit the Bollinger Band, but it's not a tab 29 buy into the sell yet because the 10 minutes not low enough. So as always, GU busting big candles. Oh. Not that I know of, Doug, at this time, but hopefully not too far out. All right, turn that off. The only thing I don't like about this MA indicator is it kind of dirties up the 30-minute chart. And that thing was actually out at the 55 up. And it made its run to the 62. Put 34 and 21 in there. It's a good example there of, and the GU does this a lot more, right? It's out at the 34 a lot. Other pairs, not as much. So when it gets out to the 34, it's a lot bigger deal. You'll see the 55 hits a lot of times are 4-hour convergences or 8 hours. You can see as price made it inside the 21. So those of you that may or may not be familiar, price goes outside the 34 shadow band, which is right here, or hits it. So data went actually to the 55. When it comes inside the 34, when it gets to the 21 and breaks the 21, we have an 87% chance based on Steve's 2000 trend moves on 4 pairs over 2 years. 87% chance of price making it to the 62. Doesn't always, as we can see here, doesn't always go in a straight line. You got in here, it went back and checked the 34 before it did it. So generally you want to size that up with waveology, pitchforks, other things. And we'll also notice that When it broke it, it was at 46. When it finally hit it, it was at 36. So because it's coming up, because price was above it, so it closes that gap. So, but here we can see went to 34, came back, checked the 21, and then it made a pretty good dash to it. This 21 comes into play a lot. It's a good one to watch as far as, when prices outside of it and inside of it. If prices, or I should say when prices on the move. Most of the other pairs are a fairly small channel this morning. The USD pairs anyway. It's funny because the GU had news like 3:30 right here. And it just kind of sat around and decided to take off. Let's see what we have here. Let's turn these off just to get them out of the way for right now. So this bottom here was a 50% retrace. So you find a lot of times that at the bottom here will be one of these two when there's two there. This will almost always be a Fibbo value. It is. It's just a matter of what, if you find it or not. It's Fibonacci rule in the charts, right? That thing's busted. Yeah, it wasn't the 2030. 30. I like it to be a major Fibbo value on those. Plus it didn't pull back. You always want to look at, okay, well, we're on the pound though. So 51.34. So it's 17 pip pullback. Scale, you want scale to be your screener, right? So you are not, good example, 76 pulls back. Here's our, of course, that wasn't the plan. See how price came up, challenge of 5, challenge of 5. And then did a check on the 5 and took off. This was after the cross, right? There was a nice move yesterday. That was the EU, that's what it was. All right, get your questions ready. I'm going to show you this one thing, and then I'm done playing show and tell. All right, so there was a session that Steve did on Fibbo. It was just one of his regular weekly teaching sessions. He did talk a little bit about, if you notice here, the 38.2 didn't catch that, right? If we look at our waveology, 30's coming up. I've pulled back once. Comes in again, pulls back all the way. So be at the very least a buy into the sell, if not a 10-minute harmonic wave convergence right here. But we look at our 38.2, it breached it. So one of the things to keep in mind is when you're using the Fibbo tool, is it's not always technically yes, right? Rule of law is put it on top of the wicks, but you'll find sometimes on the bottom or the top, if you move it down to the body like that, you'll get your direct hit. So you want to give yourself again, in that same session, he was talking about as you gain a volume of knowledge and trades, you'll see what works and what doesn't. We know that this 5-minute, at the very least, it's a 5-minute harmonic wave convergence. It's going to give us a little bit of a move out of there. So we're looking for, why is this the turnaround point, essentially? So, and we're looking 10, pulled back 10 pips. So if that's only earlier today, there was a few that earlier today, a couple hours ago, hour and a half ago, that this pullback was only 4 pips, 5 pips. It was just small candles, which, yes, that may be the turnaround, and yes, it may go like this one. But what we want to look at is this is a retrace extreme, and we based on our indicator, we have a pretty good idea that price is going to at least make a double top, if not a higher high. So here we see where it's a good example, actually, where this trade right here, we see price made a higher high, but basically by fractions of a pip, right? So this pullback was 10. It was almost the same, actually, 8 pips. That's basically the marginality point where you can get in, get out, still be safe. Even though it could go 50 pips, 30 pips, but we want to use the math in our favor, where we know when we get in this that there's based on the waveology, there's a pretty high probability of a double top and or a higher high. And so we want to use that to our favor. We're at this trade here. We know that there's a good chance we're going to make a double top. So this is, if it's 2 pips to get in, there's 8 pips of breathing room there. So it's a better risk-reward, reward-risk. Hope that helps a little bit. So things to think about is, Steve talks in the RAS about, okay, what you get to a point where, yeah, this is qualified trade. This is everything we want to see. But then you ask yourself, why wouldn't I get in this trade? Now, scale would be probably one of the main reasons. Another one is sometimes you'll see it where, let's say it's bouncing off here, and this was out at the 34, and it came inside the 21, and we're right here in time, and we got a 5-minute convergence, let's say. But we know there's an 87% chance it's going to go to here. So you end up potentially trading against yourself there. So things to think about. But this is that first 5-minute, basically pass and check. First time it happens on every pair, pretty much every day. Occasionally you'll get an extended run, right? But it happens often enough, put it that way. and that was a nice clean one. Here's another one here. If I remember right, it was a Fibbo value. Whoops, we got a little bit too much going on there. And there's price bouncing off that 21. Yeah, I think this is a 23.6. Oh, here we go. If we look here, price drove down hard, and it came right back to 38.2. At basically it went through the 62 to do it. So, we've talked about this in other sessions. Pick your poison, whatever you're using for support and resistance. But again, 11 pip pullback. Likes, high probability that we're going to make a higher high or a lower low with 30s moving its way down, or lower low, I should say. Likes to do this where it gets within about 1 pip and then pulls back again, but it did end up going lower. There's a 23.6. It just about hit it. The 5 minute basically stopped it. In real time, this candle probably pulled this into extreme. We can see even in tab 29, the 30-minute pulled back 60% versus the price only pulled back 23.6 compared to this previous high. So if you understand disproportionality, it's there, which shows us that that's a retrace. And I believe the 4 hours laying low too. All right. The birds sound like that's actually me whistling. I don't know why today. I have the doors closed right now. It's about 5:30 a.m. where I am. I choose to do my session early in the morning because I don't have conflicts with time that way. And the UK and Australia people get an evening or afternoon session. So just a note, it's brilliant. Just a note, this session today and then my 2 sessions next week, I will not be at, so they are canceled. I'm actually going on a mission trip to Nicaragua for a week, so I will be out of pocket. We'll have internet, but we'll be busy. Neat story. So I am 6'8". I played a fair amount of basketball, not for money. And I still enjoy it, and I've coached quite a bit. And so we decided we'll put on a clinic at one of the schools up there while we're there. Of course, soccer's real big in Central America, most of the world other than the U.S., even in the U.S. now. But they have hoops. So I said, well, I'll bring like 4 basketballs and I'll donate them while I'm up there. And so we put it out on the local Facebook group if anybody had any basketballs, because I was having problems finding 4 basketballs. And a lady said, yeah, I have 2 that I'd like to donate. So I meet with her yesterday, go to the next town over, and she comes with this bag, and it's got 2 half inflated basketballs. One's mostly deflated, one's not, and a pair of tennis shoes in it. And she says, I finally found a home for my basketballs. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And she goes, my brother was younger than me and he passed away like 2 years ago. And every time I come down to Costa Rica, I bring one suitcase full of his belongings and then find a good home for them, however that is, broken up, of course. And so she's from Canada and she brought these basketballs to Costa Rica and they're going to end up at a school in Nicaragua. So I thought that was pretty cool. They have their family name on them, which it's Wilkes, probably not Jamal Wilkes, but if anybody are old Lakers fans. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll put on a little 2-hour clinic, leave them some balls, and building a couple small homes, and doing some painting at the school, etc. So, yeah, it made my day. It was one of those things where when she walked up, you never know what to expect, and we sat down and had a nice little chat, and she went on her way, and pretty special. So that's good stuff. That's how it's meant to happen. Those basketballs were meant to be in Nicaragua. So, but I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, I will be out for the week next week. I think I've only missed one other session. I was traveling one time since I started DTV. So, but I will be back the week after that. And with that, I think I'm going to wrap up today. I appreciate your time. We showed you a few things on the charts. Again, it's what I see. It's not necessarily what you need to trade. I say it almost every session, but you'll find that one thing that works for you. And whether the waves, what they are, the support and resistance, what it is. Generally, support and resistance is going to come first. And then the waves are going to confirm that. That's how it was designed and meant to be. Channels are good. Drawing channels, I do a fair amount of that. 30, 10, 5, just to get an idea of what, where is price. It's funny because something I was watching, it was an older recording, and Steve was talking about how he designed tab 29 and how it sent its tops and bottoms, right? That TAB, right? And it actually senses where that channel is. And then the waves are relative inside of that channel. And so essentially that's why when he shows in tab 29 on how to draw a channel, the importance of that is that, these tops and bottoms are essentially defining the channel. So when you put the points on your chart, all of a sudden you see, oh yeah, there it is. But the naked eye doesn't always pick them up, right? But once you put it on your chart, you see that it's there. There's a channel there. And there's not always a channel, but when there is, it definitely comes in handy. So, but that's it. That's it for this week. I appreciate you guys being here. I will see you guys 2 weeks from yesterday for the Charlie Delta session, and then 2 weeks from today for Power 62, and we'll put this recording up as well. So thanks, and have a good week, everybody. So he says put up the disclaimer. All right, there you go. It's so much fun.